Hello. Today we're going to go through the killer red flags with women. I've been coaching for 19 years. I've helped thousands of guys on 4-day boot camps. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of guys who had incredibly toxic relationships. Who we helped get a girl they were crazy about, marry, have kids with. I've also had a very awkward childhood myself. I won't go into, and an extremely toxic relationship myself. So yeah, incredibly proud of this content and what it can do for guys. I've put a lot of work into this. So yeah, hopefully we're going to deliver huge amounts of value tonight. Yeah, so toxic women, red flags, YouTube live starring me, how to avoid Amber Heard. Quick overview. I'm going to give you a quick intro. Then we're going to go into the red flags, and then from there, I'm going to give you some important tips, some really important tips about how to avoid this in the future and find good girls and avoid this toxic thing and whatever, all the stuff that comes with it. Need to say at this point, sorry, we literally had a power outage, so this has been a complete joke. Thank you so much, my tech guy, for saving my ass. But yeah, I put a lot of time and effort into this content, a huge amount. So yeah, please hang around despite the initial embarrassment. Okay, who's a target for rich guys? Again, this is based upon 19 years of coaching. Rich guys, successful guys, obviously there's a lot involved, and toxic women want to get on the side of these guys because then they need to work for the rest of their life in many cases. Nice guys. If you're a nice guy, you're a complete and utter toxic woman magnet. Sorry to offend many people. Women can tell, most women can tell, toxic women can tell, this guy is really easy to take advantage of. I can get him when my beauty is at its peak and then become an absolute BTCIH, and there's not a thing in the world he can do to stop me, because women see nice guys, they think clueless with women, easy to take advantage of. Asian guys, yes, especially Asian guys who end up dating white women who are quite wealthy. And unfortunately, Asian guys with Asian women too. Before we go on, I screwed up. Yeah, a client of mine, 19 years of boot camp. I could tell you a ton of stories like this. He had a very, very toxic girl. She'd run up to his front door when he'd already broken up with her, and she'd throw herself at the door with high heels and kick them and kick them and kick them, put huge dents in his rich person, whatever it was, mahogany door. He was worth about 10 mil. He worked in medical industry. And he was probably one of the best cage fighters in the world. I can't remember what the age category was, over 48 or over 50. His mum was a model, and he was a very, very attractive guy, apart from being one of the toughest guys of that age anywhere. Background, more testosterone than pretty much any Australian man I've ever met. And that was confirmed by a bunch of cage fighters. Anyway, this guy had never had much trouble getting women, some of them quite attractive, but these women were just diabolically evil and toxic, like pretty much every one of them. So anyway, he eventually broke up with her, restraining orders, bunch of them, police come a bunch of times to get this girl. Obviously, he could have killed her in 5 seconds if he'd wanted to, but he didn't lay a hand on her. I think he might have been accused of that, actually. Anyway, she follows his social media. He's off in Thailand at some Muay Thai camp, and she uses a key she still has to his house and goes and gets his beloved Staffy Pitbull Cross, his favorite thing in the world. No woman was even close. He loves his dogs. And she takes it down the vet, because the dog obviously knows her, and gets the thing put down. So has anyone got a toxic woman story to beat that? I can give you a dozen of these off the top of my head, but you're here to learn, not listen to my clients' sobs. Just so many. You can't even believe it. I might drop one or two in. If anyone reminds me to drop any good toxic women stories I've got later on, I could regale you forever. Thank you. We've got a few viewers anyway. So thank you for hanging around, guys, and thank you for anyone who's jumped on later. Very embarrassing start. Okay, we've covered rich, successful guys, nice guys, Asian guys. It was meant to be in order roughly. I'm doing this roughly in order. Tall and handsome guys. if you're tall and handsome, a lot of very toxic women are, insecure and brutal and whatever. They don't have the best childhoods and stuff, which I'll get onto later. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So yeah, if you're a tall, handsome guy, you're a prize. I won't go into details now, but I coached literally one of the world's top male models. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy was beautiful. I'm traveling around Eastern Europe with him, and I'm surrounded by the best looking girls in the world by far. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, she's like what Australians or Americans or Canadians would call a 9.5 or a 10. He's even more beautiful than them. This was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man, one of the top 5 in the world. And yeah, he just had toxic after toxic after toxic after toxic. He was a really bad, nice guy as well. I thought he was going to die when I asked him to approach a woman. Like, literally, I thought he was going to die and have a heart attack. So yeah, if you're good looking and you're tall and you're desirable, then you're a target for a woman who wants to use you to fill holes in herself, actually. And intelligent guys, a lot of intelligent guys these days are quite well off. So yeah, you're a huge target as well. And the fact that you have such a logical brain often makes it quite difficult for you to understand women and their emotions, which, some blue collar guys, or certainly guys who work in hospitality, are much, much better at. So yeah, these are guys who are crazy targets. I'll probably get into this in a bit more detail. If anyone wants any more perspective on why this is the case with these groups of men, please ask me. I'm just going to get straight into red flags for you soon. I haven't touched the comments. Sorry about that. Where are we? Let's go quickly. It's probably you guys just having a chat after I kind of humiliated myself. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Martin. Love my regulars. Thank you so much. Krishna78, I can't do that. Ralph says a whole bunch of our regulars. Thank you so much. I hope they had a good chat amongst yourselves while I was panicking galore. Again. So yeah, on to the red flags, which is what you come from. Remember, I'm not just giving you the red flags. I'm giving you what to do. Sorry about the quality of the slides. Really sorry. It was meant to be all flash and wonderful, but I just dumped all this on my tech guy after a major crisis. We're meant to have a meeting to do all this, but you can see it anyway. So it's better than it was before. A couple of questions. John Rambo saying, may I ask, do you coach any guys at any age? Just let me know your age and I answer. I really specialize in over 35s, over 40s. But yeah, occasionally I let a younger one slip through if I really like him. Not that many, but it's possible. Lies. Yeah, this works for friends. If a girl lies a lot, she's probably toxic. If a girl's very, very good at lying, she's probably toxic. Given I'm a dating coach, you'd hope I'm a bit of an expert at reading body language, and telling what women are like. I've done a lot of acting, public speaking, and sales as well, so I'd probably have a much greater chance of being good at this than the average guy. Sorry, I got distracted by some of the comments. And yeah, I dated a girl, my most toxic ever, who the most toxic I spent any amount of time with anyway. And yeah, she could lie like Meryl Streep on camera. No one would know. I've done whatever, micro expressions. I've done all this stuff. So I'm pretty good at lying. Even when she was filmed and I watched it a few times, there's a super advanced tip for you guys I just dropped in by mistake. So she was a world-class liar. I won't go into details of how she got that skill and her background. So yeah, she looks like she's telling the truth, the absolute truth, the whole truth, but she's lying through her teeth. How did I pick it up? I've got a bit of logical reasoning intelligence. She'd make lots of logical mistakes that any guy who's half good at listening with half a brain could figure out. I'm just like, you are one of the great liars in history, my dear. And she'd do it all the time. And then I'd call her out and I'm like, you're lying. You're the best liar I've ever met. You're so good at this. You're so good at this. You should be an actress, but you can't hold on to key details. You keep slipping up with key details. That's the only way I'd ever know with you. And she would throw a fit that you can't quite describe. Okay, I'm not know what I'm doing. Sorry, my eyesight's not as good at this age. I meant to do a poll for this. So just give me a yes or no. I don't know if we added our new polls. And we've got a bunch of polls anyway. Yeah. We're the holy grail, the complete holy grail of success with women is understanding their lies, manipulations, and tests. It's the holy grail. It's everything. It's absolutely everything. So, if a girl is testing a lot, and most guys, including my father, including most of my clients, don't know tests, don't know anything. They don't think women sometimes lie relentlessly, and they call it's not a lie, it's a test. So, who here knows about tests? Yes or no? Women's tests. Of those who know about tests, I'll give you some examples later, but I just want to fly through the red flags and I'll take your questions. So, yes or no? Who here is familiar with the term woman's test? Many of you may have, dare I say, a pickup artist definition of test, which is sort of correct, but it's very, 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 very limited. They're only getting a tiny bit of the puzzle. Without being big-headed, my childhood situation, plus I dated a girl with a 155 IQ who was a prodigy. I wasn't too happy that I was traveling the world, with a lot of women, even though I clearly liked her the best and would spend 6 weeks a year with her. She got nasty with me and she gave me tests that no other woman could ever come near. She was smarter than any man I've ever met in my life, other than someone who founded a very famous company, and even then, probably smarter than him. Okay, let me see. Oh, sorry, we've had a few slide problems. I'll make sure I get you guys what the rest of them were. I might be able to get it in YouTube. Let me just see. I'm actually somewhat prepared, I think. Just let me get you what number. Is it? Okay, excuse me for a second. Okay, thank God I took a bit of your time to figure that out. I'm missing some important ones if I hadn't done that. Okay, repeating the same argument over and over again. That is a shocking one. So many of you would have had this and not recognized it as a test. Why do women go over the same argument, possibly an occasion where you admitted you were wrong? Why do they just keep going all over that over and over and over again? It's to control you. They know they've got this one button they can press and get this big reaction out of you. They've got one button they can press, get this big reaction out of you. So they keep using it because they know it works. They know it works. It's sort of like the clitoris of manipulating men. You do the clit right, and big things happen. You do these tests right, and the guy's just hopeless. So that's a huge one. Have any of you got examples of some girl that you dated who just kept going over? I'll give you some of my you made a fool of me at the wedding. You ignored me. We were on holiday somewhere and you did this. It was so embarrassing. You got me all worked up one night and then you didn't follow through, or just whatever. You embarrassed me in front of my friends. I literally had a girl who literally flew to America, from America to hang out with me and my new girlfriend. Sometimes she accused me of humiliating her in front of her family. And when I first met her family, other than her mother, she said, all my family love you. My sister, my brother, they've never liked any guy I brought home as much as you. So it goes from that one to that one. And then, anyway, I understand why her mum didn't like me. I acknowledged that, but then she kept using this as her button. You humiliated me in front of my family. I said, no, I didn't. Your sister loved me. I loved you. I thought your sister was great. You're just going to get this thing over and over and over again. Okay, the woke mob's going to have a go at me. There's no reason some guy in a wheelchair shouldn't be able to play in the NBA because, we need balance and equity here. Not every girl with a mental illness is a seriously toxic woman. I'm sure some of them are very, very sweet. But if you're hearing stuff like bipolar disorder, manic, or whatever they call that these days, they keep upgrading the term every 2 minutes, just like a new model of a car is the greatest model marketing invention in history. So they keep calling all these things something different, so we get confused. My favorite comedian, Doug Stanhope, I think it's him who's got a really good bit about it. The worst of all time is split personality. I've seen that once, probably twice. It was a crazy thing I've seen in the world. So any girl who has some sort of mental illness, it doesn't mean you don't date her. It just means you be very, very, very careful in getting too involved in that girl until you get a lot more data. To have a good relationship with any girl, you got to see how she reacts under pressure, under stress, when you have stress in your relationship. So yeah, I'd be especially keen to do that. I've had so many clients and friends, especially desirable ones, who are unfortunately nice guys, not all of them, and they get some really attractive girl, maybe more attractive than they usually get, and they think they can fix her. They go to the therapist with her, they take her to Tony Robbins, or they do meditation courses with her, think, oh, I can fix her, I can fix her, I can fix her. I must admit, I've been guilty of that, because my girl who turned massively toxic, she had a sad childhood story, to put it mildly. So yeah, don't necessarily think you're going to fix this stuff, because it sometimes just doesn't happen. Okay, I might have missed that out from the list. This is quite sad, actually. Sometimes the girls who are the most toxic, are the sweetest, most loving, most caring, and especially sexual at the start. If anyone's had an example of this, let me know. I certainly have, more than once. Could get myself in trouble here again, but I could really get myself in trouble here again. No, I can't say it. I'll do one of these over Zoom that's not on YouTube before. Well, why not? If a girl has had unfortunate things happen to her when she was young, it's possible, and I've talked about this with psychologists, she could be an individual who's, a bit more sexual than others. So I have to edit that out. But yeah, so yeah, this is an issue too. So and the girls who are toxic, the girls who know they're toxic, they're very good actresses. Look at so many great actresses have all these mental illnesses. There's a reason they got these acting skills. So yeah, just be very, very careful with mental illnesses. And if a girl's just too good to be true, if she's too good to be true, she possibly is. And the girls who are going from relationship to relationship to relationship to fling, who are constantly hitting up new guys and getting whatever rejected by them, or it's not working out, they're the ones who are constantly single, guys who are working to get better with women, I tend to be dating. So if you haven't had the success you want with women, if you've got to go out and get some experience, date multiple women, have some relationships, have some flings. If you're one of those guys, you tend to be dating from a poor sample size of women compared to the general population. Hopefully, I'm probably talking to my client, to the smart guys when I talk like this. Sorry if that's not good. Next thing is obviously physical or verbal abuse. I don't want to give you any misconceptions. Johnny Depp, whatever. The most important abuse of men by women is not physical. It's not physical. It is absolutely not physical. It's emotional. It's psychological. It's horrendous. It's one of the biggest problems in our society today, and it's crippling a generation of kids with toxic women who might be pretty hot, who've met some higher status guy and grabbed him by the balls and destroyed him, and oftentimes been a horrible mother, and many times used her kids' welfare as a tool against the guy. That happens all the time. I see it every boot camp. Yeah, two times a boot camp sometimes. So so I'm sure some of you have had stories of physical abuse. I'll give you a ripper from my client base in a second. But the predominant abuse of men is the psychological abuse. If you're going to write down one thing I say tonight on this topic, men are stupid. Men are really stupid. We're really stupid. And women are crazy. So what does that mean? It means we're obviously more balanced. We're better at a whole bunch of stuff that we've been talking about since Darwin. and we're inferior at a whole bunch of stuff too. But possibly the biggest thing we're inferior in is reading social signals, having intuition, which some people might think some sort of spiritual thing. If you meditate enough, you get to find that out. So reading signals, intuition, knowing whether a couple over there, just by looking at them having dinner, are actually together or not. Knowing how confident a particular man is, whether he's a nice guy or he slept with a bunch of girls and dated, models turned actuaries. They can tell all this many times instantly. So every man, unless you're really skilled, is a sitting duck for women, particularly if you have some cash. I talked a bit about the guys who are most at risk of toxic women, and I let a couple of important categories out. One is guys who are perceived or actually are very good with women. So because we're more of a prize, or a guy who's good with women's more of a prize, just like a tall, handsome guy or whatever, they are far more likely to attract a really toxic woman than a guy. And they don't even need to be good with women. It's like, I know some dating coaches have had some horrendously toxic relationships, who aren't really good at women at all. They're just good marketers or good YouTubers. But I also know some dating coaches who are, at least in terms of sleeping with a lot of girls, are legit, and they've had some shockers as well. As I said, I have also. So hopefully you guys understand the prize thing. Again, thanks for supporting me, guys, after such a bad start. We're getting numbers, nothing like normal, but not too bad. And then gaslighting. Whenever there's a word I never knew about a few years ago, I can be a little bit cynical about it. But yeah, twisting reality, making you question she's fucking with you. To be honest, so much of gaslighting, what we call it now gaslighting, is just women's tests. It's women controlling you and manipulating you. But we've now got, men do this to women too. Yeah, so very, very important. A lot of these new fancy words are just like, it's all women's tests. It's women's psychological advantage used as a weapon against men. Oh, sorry, I've done something silly. Oh no, why is my computer going crazy? It's really not been my day. Anyway, it's sorted itself out. It distracted me from my stream of thought. Sorry about that. Okie dokie. This is my first time using slides. Hopefully you appreciate that. Constant criticism and negativity. Always on about your flaws, chipping away at your self-esteem. I give you so many examples of this stuff. A girl I dated where, I earned quite a lot of money in finance. I was paying, most of the bills. She was, I don't want to say too much. Anyway, there's a reason I was paying most of the bills, which I usually pay nothing. And she goes on at me about, oh, you never do anything around the house. You never do this. You never do, this is another woman's test. You never do this. You're so lazy. How can you do this? And then, I would just usually come back with real men don't do dishes or eat pussy, which inflamed her because she didn't like that much. If anyone thought that was funny, just let me know. The women probably won't like it. I'm a big fan of outsourcing the pussy licking. They do a much better job than pretty much any guy, I can assure you. So yeah, she's constantly on at me about all these things. One of the biggest things is, you never do anything around the house. You never do anything around the house. You don't raise anything. You don't raise it. I'm like, yeah, because I work 10, 12 hours a day and people fly from all over the world for my events. So there's a whole bunch of things. They're constantly criticizing you about stuff. She'd constantly say I was passive aggressive, and I've looked it up. I'm not even sure exactly what that means. I've looked it up, but it still doesn't make sense to what she accused me of. I kept saying, well, that's a lot better than being aggressive. So yeah, they're constant criticism. Again, I'm here to serve you guys and change your life. Thanks. People seem to be posting my links in the chat. That's really nice of you. But yeah, I'm here to answer your questions because I'm going to do a much better job if I'm handling your questions. On that note, could you just hold for 1 second? I'm just going to get someone to help me out. I'm in Indonesia now, planning how to nail residentials here. So yeah, that's why the problems. Surya, could you open that and open the back one and get me another jug of cold water out the fridge, please? Or hope there is one. Or maybe just add a bunch of ice to that one that's in the fridge. Apologize for the slight intuition. And just open both doors so I get some fresh air in here. It's extremely hot here, and after basically most of my life, the only way I've ever made money is public speaking and leading events. My throat just cannot handle air conditioning, particularly Indonesian air conditioning. Sorry if there's been a bit of noise in the background. Okay, so you're always focusing on your flaws, chipping away. I'm a bit absent-minded, but she started accusing me of being hardcore autistic and all this stuff. Just so many things. If any of you guys have any examples, just share it in the chat. The next thing is unpredictable behavior. Just flipping out over fairly minor stuff. Flipping out over very minor stuff. Just leaving you completely lost. I know I said lost as, I don't know if I didn't use a swear word there. That must have been someone else. Maybe a misinterpretation. So yeah, if you want to train animals, if you want to train anyone, you don't, it's contrary to management, but it works. If you want to train anyone, you don't give them consistent feedback on the results. You give them feedback that flies all over the place, because that's really hard for them to deal with. So yeah, I believe if you look at anyone who trains animals, dogs, particularly the whales in the park, the whales and the dolphins in the theme parks that everyone gets on about, they're treated horribly. It's like they jump out the water and jump over the rope. They get a fish, 1 in 2 times when they start, and then do to 1 in 3 times, and move it to 1 in 5 times, and move it to 1 in 10 times. Anyway, women who've got a desirable man who want to keep him all to themselves and tear his confidence down, they're experts at unpredictable behavior. Many women use this, but some women are masters out of it. I've had at least one, and I've had a few who are on their track to being masters if I hadn't cut it off quick enough. I just thought of another great thing on how to handle it. Sorry, Surya, could you open that door as well, just to get some airflow through, and maybe open it a fair way, and go full on with the curtains to let as much light in here. Unfortunately, I plugged in an Indonesian light, and that short-circuited my entire apartment. And the guy who can fix that sort of thing had to come from a long, long way away. So this is why I've been so embarrassed with a few things. But yeah, it's great content. People are hanging around. So muchas gracias, or terima kasih banyak, as they say in Indonesia. So yeah, unpredictable behavior is a huge thing. Again, I'd really love to see any questions coming through. That's what I'm here for. It's not to just give you points, because your questions will put flesh on these points and help you and help everyone else on here. Okay, I'm in a Muslim part of Indonesia now, so you might hear imams doing prayer calls. A bit embarrassing. Flipping out over tiny things, leaving you lost as heck. Okay, we're on to how to fix it already. Please give me some questions on women's tests. Someone's asking. I might just have a quick look at the comments now. Okie dokie. If anyone's got any good questions, because it's been a bit rushed today, I haven't really looked through it. Again, someone's saying, is Byron Bay a good place to visit in Australia? It certainly used to be. It's debatable anymore. Happy to hear it's nighttime, so no matter how. Thanks, Martin. David, just saying, Tess isn't on for this one. I may have Natalia. I may even have one of my... Oh, you vote for that. I may have one of my trainers who's a clinical psychologist, who's a Chilean model, who's done 10 grand a day television commercials. I might get her on. She's now a clinical psychologist. She occasionally does modeling. Let me see. Has anyone done an approach in the meantime? Ralph asking. You haven't done one on approaching, although anyone who came to watching Tess coach the guy, that was probably a masterclass on a coaching. If I was more organized, I'd put the thing in the chat. Love your work. Thank you so much. No, I haven't forgotten. Bit of chat between you guys, so I just check the time. Russian girls are often very, very hot and also very, very difficult. Actually, if you hang around to the end, I'll tell you why Russian girls are so beautiful. I might have to edit it out because that's going to be extremely politically incorrect. Okay. Ukrainian women are probably equally as beautiful, but they're nowhere near as smart, I don't think, in my experience. Ralph saying Eastern European and Russian women often expect men to earn a lot and spend a lot of money on them, and that's at least what I've experienced. That's a great comment, Ralph. So far, that's comment of the day. This is true, but what happens with Russian women is the most beautiful of them escape these third world villages. They escape the third world village, and they somehow get a American or Australian or Canadian or European man to get them out of there. Now, the girls that escape from these villages, their mothers telling them, use your beauty to get a visa, then bring the family over, and I teach you how to destroy a man and keep his ego down so you can take all his money and get me to come to New York with your hedge fund guy. So yeah, there's all these stereotypes about Russian women that are really, really unfair. Really, really unfair. Just 1 second. Surya, is it possible to easily take that the mosquito net down so I get a bit of light when the light dies down?
So you mean
Yeah, put it over. So that's going to help us out a lot because I'm going to lose light soon and humiliate myself a bit further. So that might help with this. So yeah, that's the stereotype. The two Russian women of my life, one was from the two main ones I dated and were very special to me. One was from the cultural elite of St. Petersburg. She wasn't too concerned about money. And the other one, it was a former model who hated modeling, but she did a lot of catwalk. I don't know how much money her parents had, but her dad had 2 PhDs and ran a large mining company. And her mum had a PhD, and her dad was also a boxer. I think he was actually a low-level professional boxer while he was studying. So this girl was the biggest alpha male of all time. But particularly the second girl, I was traveling to Indonesia with her. We met playing volleyball. And I just asked, it's going to be bright in my eyes, but I just have to put up with it. And I just asked, I'm going to have to deal with it. Well, that's bright. Can you just move it so there's just one film so it's not quite as bright? I might need to go full bright soon. So just have one thing, not a bunch of them. We'll see how we go with that. So yeah, sorry to interrupt this story constantly. I'm trying to make it more professional for you guys later on. That's helped a lot, actually. That might get me out of jail. I might have an apartment full of mosquitoes soon, but I'll deal with that tomorrow. Sorry, enough about me. And anyway, so yeah, I organized, it was like a 5-day tour. I went and got the drivers. I went and talked to them. And yeah, and I came back. I can't remember what it cost, but this is 2007 or 8. And it was like $500 because it was a pretty comprehensive, this is US dollars, a pretty comprehensive tour. And I organized it, and she goes, and then she goes, how much was the tour? And I organized it in like 20, 30 minutes. You'd hope I'm pretty good at networking and social skills, maybe a bit more than that. And then she goes, how much was the tour? I said, oh, $500. She just pulls out a suitcase and hands me $500. And I said, yeah, but surely I'm going to pay half, because she was 23 at this time. I was mid-late 30s. And she goes, no, you organize, I pay. You couldn't care, just could not care about money one bit. So this stereotype that every Russian woman's an out-and-out gold digger may be true for many of the Russian girls that the average guys exposed to. But certainly my experience with girls who are born or brought up from middle class or upper class families, little and rich families in St. Petersburg or Moscow, that just wasn't the truth at all. So much of the experience of American men, etc., European men, Australian men, Canadian men, potentially Asian men as well in any wealthy country with Russian girls are pretty gold diggerish and pretty toxic-ish. But yeah, and Russian women are absurdly demanding and difficult at the beginning. On a scale no one else is close. A Russian model who's just a bit above average. A Russian girl who's a bit above average looking is like worse than a catwalk model with a degree from Columbia, by far. People are sharing stuff on YouTube. Thanks for that. Hey, John Rambo. That's your age comment. Just seeing if anyone's got any killer questions. I had dates where women complained about their exes. For me, that's a red flag. I wouldn't make it a complete and utter red flag. If I wanted to bitch, I could certainly bitch about one ex. I could tell you stories about some whack jobs I've dated, who were many very desirable guys. So yeah, I mean, lots of people, particularly if they're desirable, have had one toxic flag. I don't think we've got any women on yet, but usually we get a couple. Maybe the topic scared them off. If I was a dating coach for women, which hopefully I will be at some point, I'd make a video about how toxic men, how beautiful women attract toxic men who hit them, because that's very true. I won't say how I know her, but yeah, a girl I know who's done modeling America, Europe, big time, like Fashion Week. She claimed she had 4 guys who hit her in a row. I think that was her strategy to try to win empathy and be, but you'd be nice. You're confident. You'd be nice to me. We should date. But yeah, I think she was telling the truth. She certainly had one. It may have been more. Okay, so you complain about her exes. That's an issue. If she's complaining about multiple exes, she should probably learn some lessons. But yeah, people. I mean, this is not my content, but yeah, people have a tendency to date their mother and father, so that causes a lot of problem. Jeff, I won't repeat the comment, but an interesting comment about split personality. I probably shouldn't say some of the stuff psychologists have said to me about about one of my experiences, but anyway. Someone's sharing the date and feedback link. That's really nice. Thank you so much, Ralph. Great start. John Rambo's asking, how long is this? The actual core content will probably be over in 20 minutes or something, and then as many questions as I get. I love the questions. I'm here for the questions. Teaches me more about you guys. I'll get back to the points. Like I'm very, 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 very good at helping my clients. Like ridiculously good. I've been doing this for 19 years. I was a very successful guy before, without being too big-headed by most people's standards. But yeah, helping guys off YouTube, that's new. I've got to be careful I'm not speaking too far above your level, which can cause a lot of problems. Okay, we're nearly at the end of the comments. I might just finish them. Why do women tell lies about being single with people with learning disabilities? People tell lies about being single with anyone. This is a great question, man. Great question. If you walk up to a girl and you're not weird, you're not a pickup artist, or even if you are a pickup artist, and you sort of start talking to her, she just says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend," and that's like, "I'm not physically attracted to you. You've got bad breath. I don't do short guys. I don't do Asian guys. I don't do disabled guys. But I'm not going to tell you straight out to your face, I don't date Asian guys unless they're very, very, very rich and 6'2", which is what a lot of girls might think. Mind you, Tess and I and Natalia, et cetera, in a boot camp can turn that ship around very quickly with Asian guys and old guys. So she's not going to tell you straight out, I'm not dating you because you're Asian. She's just going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've got a boyfriend." One time in Indonesia, there was a staggeringly beautiful girl who was, as it turned out, she was in a restaurant I was eating at, and I was very busy at this point. But yeah, I ended up sitting somewhere beside the hot girl, and one time, Sorry, Surya, can you open the door? I need my throat. Thanks for thinking of the mosquitoes, but unfortunately, I need my throat more. Maybe just open it a little bit. Thank you. The door, just the door. The curtains. Okay, thanks. Yeah, and maybe keep the curtains fairly shut, but thank you for that. A little bit more than that, just let the air through. Thank you very much. So what I was going to say. Yeah, story about a Russian girl. We might repeat this and do a much better job. Story about Russian girl. Yeah, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, I don't speak English." And I persisted for a while, and I kept asking her, which I thought was a great question for a Russian girl. "Oh, tell me your favorite of the great Russian novels." And I failed this test. This is a great woman's test example. I saw her eyes light up as soon as I said, "What's your favorite of the great Russian novels?" And she's like, "Oh, okay. This guy's not asking me if I like vodka or whatever, or some stupid Russian, or what I think of Putin." She's asking a good question. And I just went on. I can't remember exactly. I said, "Oh, my favorite by far is the Death of Ivan Ilyich, followed by War and Peace." But I also love Dostoevsky and Chekhov. I gave her more detail, which I won't go into you guys. And I could see her eyes light up. But then she just keeps going, "Oh, I no speak English. No English, sorry. No English, sorry." And just cutting me out. And eventually I was busy. I ordered food. I ordered fish at one restaurant and I went to eat this beautiful vegan restaurant. So I had to hurry and had stuff to do. So anyway, I gave up much sooner than I would if I was just traveling, trying to meet girls. But anyway, and I'm not as exposed to attractive women or sleeping with as many girls as I used to when I was really good at women's tests. So what I said was, eventually I just gave up and accepted the language thing. And then I just said, "Oh, listen, I just wanted to give you a tip for next time you don't want to talk to someone," which is a bit of a neg on my part. I said, the next time you don't want to talk to someone, maybe just say you've got a boyfriend, because yeah, every guy will believe that. Whereas, I can't remember exactly what it says, but if you're traveling in Indonesia and you look like you're by yourself a lot of the time, I mean, not many people are going to believe that you don't speak much English. And she looked at me initially like I was Satan, and then with much attraction. But yeah, anyway. I didn't see the test, and I should have persisted longer until later. I failed these things too. So anyway, okay. John Rambo. Okay, we've got some great questions coming through here. So, okay, Krishna78 and John Rambo. I'm going to get back. What's the biggest red flag from Teal? I'm going to get back to delivering what I promised, but I want to handle those questions later because that's what I'm here for. Thank you so much. When one guy asks questions, we tend to get a whole host. I'm actually proud of myself given the stress I've been under and the heat that I'm doing this good, but I'm going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes tonight. Okay, my good tech guy, where are we? Oh God, okay. I just clicked on the wrong thing and that's really helped me. Okay, this is a final question, which we didn't do as a banner. Just one second. This will be really valuable. This will be incredibly valuable for all of you. You'll hit me anyway. Are you able to set those up as banners, please? Don't worry for today. I'm going to use my other banners first. Maybe set them up for the future while you're there. Okay, so we're going to have votes for the next YouTube Live. Before I do it, if anyone would really like to get to go on a date with Tess, which we usually charge $1,500 on the website for, it's going to be Natalia actually, who's I shouldn't say this, who's an extraordinary coach too. Yeah, she's much more experienced at Tess, particularly at boot camps, and they're the two best by far. If any of you would like a date with Natalia, hopefully the link doesn't still say book a date with Tess. Just chuck that in. There'll be times tomorrow. And yeah, without being big-headed about this, just that one thing will change your life. You go on a date, you practice approaching, we record basically your top 7, top 10 mistakes, things you need to work on. We give you a top 3, and whether you ever come to one of these or talk to us again, just that plan in itself will change your life. Just do the top one thing on that, and it will change your life. Okie dokie. So what I was going to do before I got distracted is whoopsies. Okay, we've got that. This would be very valuable to all you guys too. Is to, sorry, just a tech freeze. I'll be back with you very, very shortly. So I've got so many windows open I haven't closed because of the stress. Okay, I might need to leave it. Here we go. He's got it. I've lost my thing. Okay, this will be the longest comment of the night. Sorry about just taking up all the comments. If anyone sees, this isn't very clever. If anyone sees any topics there they really like the sound of, how to spot a gold digger, women's test, maximum success, minimum time, how to find a great girlfriend fast, James's story, 27-year-old model to buy model girlfriends, and the love of my life, much more importantly, the absolute love of my life, and the most remarkable, greatest woman I've ever met in my life. Women's tests and some amazing relationships that changed my life. Hopefully did change theirs. Women's signals, checklist to find a great girlfriend. My take on current gender politics, MGTOW, red pill feminism. By the way, I think everyone I've talked about, everyone I've seen on both sides, not everyone, nearly everyone, they either think all women are evil, they don't really understand women, or they think all men are evil, they don't really understand men. Or in the women's case, they just choose not to because it suits their agenda. And then also, so if you just say in the comments which you find really good, how to get an amazing girlfriend, avoid toxic ones, and then mistakes intelligent men make, mistakes nice guys make, mistakes successful guys make, and mistakes older guys make. So yeah, if you guys could all, you can have say up to 3 votes each. So yeah, I listened to what you guys are talking about. This has been a vote from the past. So yeah, so if you just have a vote on any of that, you can see them in the chat. So it wasn't presented quite as well as we wanted. It was meant to be on a slide. It's in a banner actually. But yeah, I hope that should help you guys a lot. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the advertised content, which I can't currently read. So yeah, I probably won't do this again because it takes a long time. Okay, thank you so much for this. Just because I've asked you and a bunch of guys have helped me, I might just... this is weird. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not very good at the tech side of it. I think it's a problem with... No, here we go. I've got them coming through in one thing, but not the other. Okay, how best to screen out gold diggers and those women that have a toxic history of extracting cash and assets from a man. Yep, I can do that. I've met one of the world's greatest gold diggers. 2 of them, actually. And my friend dated one of the world's biggest gold diggers. We've just lost the list. Hopefully that'll come back up. We might do this first. Oh, I'm getting bitten by mosquitoes. The stuff I do. Also, what about body count? Do you ask a woman? Geez, that's a good question. She's going to lie. I don't know. That's a great question, man. I'm going to have to think about that. That's the question of the night. You've stumped me. You really stumped me. Do red flags change with age, or do they get more of a certain... Oh, Lucio. That is question of the night. Yes, they do. Because a hot 22-year-old girl or any 22-year-old girl is very, very different from a 28-year-old girl and a 35-year-old girl and a 45-year-old girl. So red flags absolutely do change. That's That's a War and Peace book. That's a really big one. Some dating coaches say you should always kiss a woman on the first date to find right away whether she's attracted to you. What are your thoughts on this? I don't want to be rude, so I won't be. But no, 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 no. Can you email me or tell me who says that? Because I might start doing reaction videos at some point, particularly when I've got Tess or potentially Jackie there. That's shockingly bad, horrendously bad advice. Actually, just tell me in the chat who said that. It's probably a marketer or a woman or something, or a YouTuber who's never coached many people or had that much success themselves. So yeah, I mean, if you're trying to FUCK the biggest SLUTs on the planet, and you want to test that, then yeah, that might not be too bad an idea, which is what a lot of pickup artists want. That basically techniques to sort by the biggest SLUTs. Okay. Yeah, there's an application process for the date with Tess or whoever. Oh, Craig Russell, don't get dengue fever. I've had that already. And I'm in Indonesia. Very, very smart man. Okay, we've got the list. Okay, how to spot a gold digger. Okay, there's all my list. I think it's going in twice. Women's signals, women's tests. I vote for number 3. Sorry, if you just let me know what that was, 3. Oh, thank you, Simon S. You're doing it well. Women's tests, women's signals, maximum success. If anyone can see what Simon S. said, he's the winner because that makes it very, very easy for me. I may need to edit bits of this, so I'll lose the chat. So if you make it easy, I can just quickly do it. You get an answer to body count questions by her social reputation. David Masterson says, offer the kiss by going slow. I don't think so. Oh, that's the name of someone. No. Yeah, I disagree with that. I should just say who I am and what I want. I didn't have any girls till I was in my 30s, apart from one incredibly embarrassing moment. So I never went through that I need to sleep with 1,000 women or 10,000 women or beat Wilt Chamberlain to feel good about myself. I had lots of things to feel good about myself for when I was completely hopeless with women. Tons, in my opinion. So I wasn't trying to sleep with as many girls as possible. I wasn't trying to add numbers to a spreadsheet. I just kept what I call a pickup or dating diary. I never kept a formal spreadsheet. So yeah. I never wanted to sleep with every single girl I could. Now, if you want to sleep with every single girl you could, kissing them very quickly could be a good strategy because I can tell you what guys who slept with large numbers of girls do, the ones I've met anyway. And I know many guys, 100 a year, 300-400 a year in a couple of cases. Guys who did what was the record? I can't remember now. I don't want to lie about it, but it was like some extra. I need to look at. I think a guy did. Was it 250 days? He did like 230 girls. If you understand his logistics date plan, you'd get it. And he was short and not particularly attractive, and he was insanely talented with women, even dressed badly. But he wore anyway. So yeah, I think to meet quality women, I would not kiss straight away. That's certainly my opinion. Some great things. You can get an answer to the body count question by social reputation. Yeah, but some girls are really good at hiding it, or Australian girls might be a complete and utter angel until they go overseas. Just give me 10 minutes. Maybe try shutting the doors to keep the Aussies down. I'm going to die here. Shut the curtains as well. I might not be able to make it. Okay, sorry. I'm doing the numbers. Oh, sorry. Women's signals and tests was the next vote. 4 so far, but don't really feel anything. I personally would say, I personally would say kiss by the end of the second date. I find that reasonable. That's probably more accurately, but I wouldn't. I don't kiss until I've got the situation where I can close the deal. That's been a hard and fast rule for me. It's wasted so much time. But if I just wanted to sleep with as many women as I humanly could, that might be a good strategy, but that was never my goal. And it's not really many of my clients' goals. So I can't comment. Yeah, it probably would work because you're gonna sort through the girls who aren't interested in it. But at the same time, I mean, I've met girls who admit it. They'll go to a club with, almost their genitals hanging out and most of their boobs hanging out. And they'll make out with 3, 4, 5, 6 girls, particularly through 18, 19, 20. And some of these girls are still virgins. Um, uh, because, yeah, they just want the attention from men. And, once you stick that thing in there, that's sex. But if you just make it, never slept with a guy but made out with 100, I mean, that's not that's not something that happens a lot. Okay, back to how to fix it. Okay, excuse me 1 second. Nearly there. So this is my most embarrassing ever by a long way. Oh no. Could you please put the slides back, please? My lovely tech guy, just put the slides back. That would be awesome. I can possibly do it, but I'll probably fuck it up. We'll see. No, he's screwed it up. Can he fix it himself? Okay, he did. What a legend. My software makes it very good. Oh, Luke, some of the girls I've slept with, I never kissed them. Yeah, I've had quite a few girls who I didn't kiss till after I was inside them. Quite a few, actually. That's more my strategy. A lot of people who've watched my speech at 1.8 million have sort of said, yeah, that was one of the best things you ever gave me. Not kissing them until you can actually close the deal. You can miss a lot of great girls doing that. You can probably get a lot of, promiscuous ones or not great girls. I'm sure there's promiscuous girls who are great, but anyway, not my thing. Okay, so, oh, come on. Again, apologize for the, this is the first time I've done it. Okay, so this is very, very small. Number one is obviously your skills and confidence. Women take advantage of nice guys. A lot of rich, successful guys and Asian guys are nice guys. So women are constantly taking advantage of nice guys because they're pretty fucking easy to take advantage of most of the time. So yeah, if you can display skills and confidence, particularly if you've got money, you might not get to sleep with some toxic women because they'll get some guys much more clueless than you. Someone asked a great question about do women's tests change over time? That's an excellent question. A super hot 20-year-old or 22-year-old girl who's got some level of self-esteem, a little high self-esteem, she's hunting down the biggest alpha male she can get. So her tests are to see if he's an alpha male. That girl, fast forward 6 years or 7 years or 8 years or a really, really bad heartbreak or boobs starting to go a bit south. Not as much as it used to be because many of them have them fixed up by surgeons. But yeah, boobs going south, things all over their skin that they never had in their early 20s. They can't rock a bikini anymore. Many of those girls, at that point, they will start completely turning their tests around. They're not testing for the alpha male of the universe anymore. They're testing for a guy they can control and take advantage of, who they can get bitchy and suck the money out of him and suck the life out of him if they need to. So many of them are actually repulsed by the alpha male now. They don't want that guy. Or maybe they still want to sleep with him if he's his yoga teacher or personal trainer, but they want to date, the hedge fund guy or the CEO or the executive or whatever, surgeon. That they want the surgeon who's clueless to be the hubby and then they'll just dry up sex potentially to get a divorce settlement soon. They'll just refuse sex. Very quick way to get a guy to cheat on her and then get more on the divorce settlement. That's gold digger 101. But they'll go sleep with their yoga teacher or something. I think there's YouTube channels about people getting caught cheating that are probably full of those women. Yeah, I got distracted. That was my point. Skills and confidence. So you got to have skills and confidence, especially if you're wealthy or successful, because you're going to get burnt. It's not a question of if you get burnt, it's when you get burnt. Some guys will marry their childhood sweetheart and it all works out well. But yeah, it's just, toxic, successful men attract toxic women. It's a very simple equation. It's a high statistical significance. Experience with women. Sorry, my notes are terrible. Unfortunately, these slides were not done terribly well given the rush I put my tech guy through. But we'll get there, no worries. Okay, what to do about it? Okay. How to fix. Sorry, here we are. You got to sleep around a bit. It's not an option, especially if you got money. I'm probably, for the right girl, an amazing boyfriend now. I didn't come out of the womb that way. I certainly wasn't in my early 30s. I mean, some women would argue I was, an exciting guy, but a completely awful boyfriend to the extent they called me a boyfriend. Simply, I didn't know much about relationships and women. It takes some skill to be a good boyfriend. It takes some experience with other women, and it also takes some experience to actually know how to pick a good woman. Who here runs a business or they've hired people? Imagine you're hiring. You've got a business that does 10 million or even 1 million, let alone a company. Would you just take, the first financial controller or marketing manager, or even staff that just landed on your desk? Oh, there's a CV. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He's got a university degree. I'll hire them. No, of course you wouldn't. You'd be insane. You'd be asinine. You'd be bankrupt in no time. As I know, hiring bad people and paying the price savagely. But so many very successful guys, many of whom have IQ points 20, 30, 40 on me, they'll just marry the first girl that landed on their dick. Just first girl, yeah, she's beautiful. She sucks my dick regularly. She doesn't cause me too much hassles compared to the last one. Yeah, I'll marry her. A bunch of her friends are getting married. Some of your friends are getting married. She's hassling you to get married. Oh, whatever. My friends are getting married. Honeymoon would be nice. I could do it with a holiday. Shut the girl up. I'm still getting good blowjobs and regular sex. And as soon as they do that shit, all the good stuff goes away. So it's just you gotta. You got to experience a bunch of women. You don't just settle for the first half decent girl you get. That's asinine in today's world with the family courts. And it's not just you'll lose half your money. It's like you'll end up in a fucking prison cell beside some guy who's murdered or robbed banks or whatever they put in high security cells, like that Australian rugby league player's name eludes me. So yeah, if you're a successful guy, you've got to have skills. Again, I've put the chat in before. I was meant to link it. If you want to get the skills, Tess or Natalia will get that. We'll give you 45 minutes. They'll get you these skills at lightning rate compared to where you were before. That's so important. You've got to date multiple women for a time. You just have to date multiple women. Don't even bother if you don't make multiple women. The link. Let me just see. So we'll be back with you in a second. I just lost something important. Okie dokie. You need to get some experience. You need to date multiple women. You need to have a bunch of relationships, actual relationships with girls, and that can be anywhere from if you're traveling and they're very deep relationships, that could be anywhere from a few weeks up to a few months, because you're going to learn so much of those short women. Again, I'm going to get in trouble with a lot of people. If I just do one jiu-jitsu class a month, how much better at fighting will I get? Certainly jiu-jitsu. I mean, just one class with a good teacher is probably going to help you in a street fight against someone who knows nothing. But if I'm doing that every month, how much am I going to improve? Or if I just go to the golf course once a month and play, I'm going to improve, but not very much. Guys can see that. No one's going to, if you just hire one person in a business, how good are you going to be at hiring? No matter who you listen to or whatever guru, it's not going to be very good. Yeah, I mean, you don't take one swimming lesson or diet for a day and expect you're going to turn your life around. But yeah, guys will just settle for the first girl they ever meet, and then they come and complain to me on the boot camp that she went toxic on them. And many, many times, when I listened to the full story and saw the girl's point of view, I said, I'm almost on the girl's side. I mean, you were this wealthy guy who swept her off her feet, then you got back to your career or business. She got a tiny bit difficult, and you basically turned into this hyper nice guy, or maybe you hid at work to get away from her. It was often an awful father. She thought she was getting the prize. You got to remember, women have a very limited time to make these decisions and make these choices versus us guys. We can still make it in our 70s if we're desirable enough. If they pick the wrong guy, they sometimes get really fucking unhappy with their decision. And they take it out on you. And so many successful guys who are nice guys, or even handsome guys, they might get a pretty good woman, but they turn her toxic. And the fact that she's, 20s, maybe mid-20s, early 20s when she met them, and then she's in her 30s, she's like, I can't get a guy like this anymore. I got no hope. And then they take it all out on the guy. So I'm not saying it's 100% the guy's fault, but yeah, I need to be balanced in this. I'm not just railing on women the whole time, like many people with much bigger followings than me on YouTube do. And probably not a great deal of experience with women who are much better marketers than me. Okay, can anyone guess what the next one is? It's probably in the comments. Never. I should have saved my one swear word for this. Never, ever, 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 whatever you do in life, never settle for a woman, especially in 225 with where the family law courts is, with where the whole gender politics is. President Trump, when he wasn't president, he tries to kiss a girl without permission. It's a sexual assault. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but there's some pickup artist in Glasgow. He's in jail now. He's in jail for cold approaching women. I didn't tell you my my Asian guy, nice guy story. Yeah, you've got to be really confident with a woman you even live with. The girl you have sex with without a condom that you provided. It's that dangerous. Boris Becker got a blowjob in a closet from a dark-skinned model. He loves the dark-skinned ones. He's still paying the girl alimony, I think. Certainly paying it for 18 years on Boris Becker's net worth. Women will do anything, say anything, learn anything to trap high-value men. Because when they do, their life's done. They don't need to worry about money ever again. It's insane. And you don't need to be Elon Musk to get women like that. Like he got Amber Heard and beat most of us with the toxic girl. I've said this before, but thank freaking God Amber Heard was still in love with Johnny Depp. Otherwise, we would live in a world that was completely and utterly unrecognizably different to the world we live in. Sorry for any people who think Elon Musk's a psychopath and Twitter's a cesspool run by a psychopath. I've heard that from someone quite close to me, not a girlfriend. So yeah, if you're a successful guy, if you're an Asian guy, if you're a nice guy, if you're a tall, handsome guy, if you're an intelligent guy, if you're a guy who's slept with a lot of girls, never, ever, 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 ever settle. Never settle, because it will come back and bite you, particularly the rich ones. You just can't settle. So that's number 3. I should have probably made that number 1 in reality, because that's the number 1 thing you got to do. You got learn about women. You got to take a bunch of girls for a test drive in bed as well. You got to have some relationships. You got to find out what you want from a girl. It's all the stuff I go on about the whole time. You got to get your skills at a high level. Then you got to search in areas where the women you actually want will be. I think, which is one of my next points. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is far too advanced for a YouTube thing. I do have some clients here, but I can't put this on the list, and I can't leave this off the list because it's the number one skill. Incredible question from Luke. Thank you. You got to be able to understand and pass women's tests and their psychology. You got to get kind of good at reading signals. Because if you don't know that and you're wealthy, or you're just a man in today's age, you're just a sitting duck. You're just a sitting duck to be tortured. The majority of pain in my lifetime has come from women testing me and me not understanding. Or me having a very good understanding, but just missing one key thing that she did that was her only real button she could press anymore, or maybe two. So yeah, if you've got money, you can spend all your time on your career, you can whatever, conquer the world, you become fucking Elon Musk for all I care, but you can never settle for a woman. Again, world, very different place. Elon Musk stuck with Amber Heard. I did a speech about it saying, yeah, if Elon Musk stays with that girl, someone needs to talk to him. You should be shorting the crap out of Tesla if he had stayed with her. Okay, so next thing is I can swap them around. Don't ignore warning signs. Please don't ignore warning signs. I meant to put this in a while ago. 1 second. So yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to pin this. Wrong one. Yes, if anyone would like help, Natalia is available, and I can't even do a copy and paste right for some reason. Natalia is available. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pin this. And she's freaking amazing. She's freaking amazing. I'll definitely get her on some of these lives at some point. But yeah, Tess is extremely good at it. Okay, he's going to do some tech stuff. Hopefully I've pinned it. If someone let me know if I've pinned it. Yeah, we're part of the reason I'm doing this is I'm rehearsing my content on you to get up a bit early and do these on US time zones and sell an online program early. So yeah, we'll be charging money for this, quite a good deal of money soon. And when I start doing, hopefully you guys like it, when I start doing this to the American market, and there's a third of the audience who's getting up at 2 or 5 in the morning to listen, yeah, you won't get this opportunity anymore, and we will be a completely utterly different level of prices, and we've already been charging in US dollars. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. Hopefully I've pinned it quite well. I'm terrible at this stuff. So yeah, the next point, which is very good, is don't ignore warning signs. Don't ignore warning signs. Don't ignore warning signs of toxic women. Don't ignore warning signs of toxic women. Some guys are very busy. Some guys are very trusting. I can fall for that a bit. Some guys have never really slept with a really hot girl before, and this is the first one, and their friends are loving it, and they feel like amazing when they walk around with her, and it's maybe helped them in their business, the status of having a really attractive girl. So they just ignore obvious warning signs. If your close male friends are telling you to dump her, that's not a perfect sign, but it's an indication. If you've got a sister you're really close to, again, she'll tell you things about the women she likes and doesn't like, so it's not a very good source of information. You've got to be able to tell warning signs of beautiful women when they make the same mistake all the time. One thing I've asked 1.5 girls to do is get off the freaking pill, because that hides their apart from their health and their libido and a whole bunch of other stuff and their mental health. Getting a girl off the pill takes away her excuse. Oh, it's that time of the month. It's that time of the month. It's that time of the month, because you don't know when that time of the month is if she's on the pill. Um, so yeah, I've just bullied a girl about that, and give her a bunch of health information. And yeah, when I finally got her off that, which that was okay. I've got a crazy here. So yeah, that's good. I just handle that question. No, I'll come back to that question. So yeah, don't ignore warning signs. I've gone through a bunch of warning signs, basically all the red flags. If the red flags are being repeated over and over and over and over again, she's testing you. She's lying to you. She's whenever you're down, this is one of the common women's tests. She's being an absolute bitch. She's flirting with guys in front of you. Just all these things. Oh, by the way, flirting with guys in front of you comes under the banner of women's tests. When I do this again, I might flesh out some of the women's tests or do a session on women's tests. Again, I talk mainly to my clients. I'm new to doing YouTube. Don't ignore warning signs. And finally, something I've crapped on about a lot, find a good woman who suits you. Find a good woman who suits you. For anyone with money, and I've dated a pretty major gold digger, with my first girlfriend, if you can call it that. We had sex. I didn't really think much about her apart from she had a vagina and I got to use it regularly. She loved the fact I wore very expensive suits and was 6 foot tall, and she could tell her friends about me. There's nothing relationship, but yeah, she taught me a lot about sex. I'm very grateful to her. I'm getting distracted. Every girl you meet, if you're inexperienced, that's a stepping stone to the next one. So even the most toxic of all is helping you understand toxic women, and potentially, if you get some help with women's tests, understand you what to look for on the next one. So the final thing is how to avoid toxic women. Find women who actually suit you. Find women who are especially aligned with your main hobbies and interests, especially aligned with your goals. You find girls who support your career rather than bag it or try to avoid it. Possibly most importantly of all is you find girls, I said this, who are aligned with your main hobbies and interests in life. So yeah, if you're just getting her because she's hot and she gives you good blowjobs and she's not a complete bitch for a while till she gets her claws into you, that's probably going to go pear-shaped if you've got some cash. So yeah, you got to put time and effort into it. You got to get the skills. You got to go out. You got to make a dick of yourself, particularly if you haven't been given the skills at a rate of knots. You potentially risk bad things happening with women, which happens to a lot of desirable guys, particularly attractive ones. And you got to kiss a bunch of frogs. You got to get some experience sexually. You got to get some experience in relationships. Then you got to take those skills into what I keep saying, net time, and especially your hobbies and interests, so that you can meet a really good girl for you. Because if you've got so much in common from the start, you got a good chance, of her not going toxic, because there's a genuine attraction there. It's not just she gives better blowjobs than any other girl and she's really hot, therefore I'm going to have a relationship with her, which so many men do. Again, I'm bagging myself here. When I was in finance, a girl I worked with who'd already been married, who ticked none of my boxes apart from she was hot and interested in me, and she worked at the same company I did. That was the only place I could ever find a woman. I wanted her so badly it wasn't funny. If I'd actually got her, that might have completely ruined my life, especially with my understanding of women from there. So yeah, that's it. Sorry about these embarrassing slides. Anyway, we'll be repeating this on US call times at some point, so I'll do a much better job with the slides, and I'll get different questions, and it'll be an improvement over this because I lost a bunch of time today. So yeah, how to fix skills, confidence, experience, sleep around a bit. You got to date multiple women I didn't round that point out. You got to date multiple women for a while, because if you're just doing one jiu-jitsu less than a month, you're not going to get much better at fighting. You're going to spend most of your time in the hospital injured. Never settle. That's probably the number one for a YouTube audience. Make sure you get a girl you're legitimately interested in, not just she's hot or you can't get anyone else. You got to become a master at women's test. For the more experienced guys or for the most wealthy guys, that should be the number one. Do not ignore warning signs, particularly repeatedly. Yeah, women can be a bitch once a month, and they've got hormones running through their bodies as men just can't possibly understand. But yeah, don't ignore repeated warning signs. And find a good woman to suit you, which for a YouTube audience might actually be number 2. Well, that takes some skill to do it. So I'm going to get back to some of the great questions I've had tonight. Okie dokie. So yeah, if anyone could tell me, if anyone had a good question that I haven't answered, I think I might have, I can't remember who it was. Oh, great suggestion, Ralph. I love my regulars. Okay, I remember Luke's comment, some girls I've slept with and never kissed. Ty Good, how do short guys get girls now since internet is all about looks? Okay, the internet is tough. The internet is really, really tough. But you just got to meet them in real life. You just got to meet them in real life. I've coached 100? I'm not exaggerating, maybe 100 short guys. I'm talking 5'1", 5'0", I think 4'11". Yeah, I mean, guys out of a wheelchair to be very, very happy with their dating life, just out of a wheelchair, a whole bunch. So yeah, if you're short, I don't know what you're going to do, but you just got to. You need the skills more than anyone. Short guys can do every bit. Asian guys can do every bit. They can destroy tall guys. The 2 best Aussie guys I've ever met, probably the 2 best white guys I've ever met from an English-speaking country. The brother, the black guy, who destroys everyone, everywhere else in the world, even the Brazilians, even the Israelis and Croatians. But yeah, the 2 best English-speaking guys I've ever met, and this is all travel, so there wasn't a bias towards Australians, were 5'5" and 5'7", and the 5'7" guy was 46 or 48 kilo, with a much bigger nose than me. His was a bit prettier and all Roman. Just lethal freaking weapons. I can't even share the stuff they did on YouTube. I can't even put it in a course because it's just insane. The power they had over women. Basically, what they did, they were masters at escalation, but they knew exactly. Imagine there's a, what do you call it? My brain's gone. In a car where there's the thing that does the revs per minute, and they were experts at keeping this girl about to have a fucking nervous breakdown and slap him. They were an expert at just keeping him a tiny, tiny bit in the red zone, then dropping out when they were out. I mean, grand masters. I learned so. These were some of my biggest mentors. I think that would be certainly 2 of my top 10 mentors. It wasn't so much mentors; I just observed them. So short guys can kill it. Just some tips that I've probably given before. We did one of our events, and on the same event, we taught guys how to read signals, and we taught Aussie guys, a few American guys, maybe the odd European, how to dress. And all these guys, I mean, as short as 5'4", they might have even been shorter, are coming up to me going, "Oh my God, I went out today for lunch. I dressed like you told me." Me and a few of my trainers, and I did the reading signals thing that you just demonstrated on stage with Monique, one of the models on the channel, who did a great job because she's a model. And I'm getting attention all the time. I'm cold approaching girls after seeing their signals, and I'm getting dates, and they're not flaking. And it was all because of this. And these were short guys by the standards of what women want on dating apps. So basically, anyone can do better with women if they have the skills, and you need the skills. When I say anyone, I'm probably not going to get Quasimodo, whoever the number 1 Victoria's Secret model is. I don't think I can achieve that, but we can get Quasimodo, the best freaking hunchback he's ever seen. Was he a hunchback? I can't remember. And we might get him a pretty good able-bodied woman. So, yeah. Interesting topic would be dating and relationships between people with different cultural and religious backgrounds. That is a ripper. If you give me more culture, I'm a bit of an expert on that. If you give me religious, I've coached a lot of guys doing that. I can't say I'm an expert. I'm, if anything, I'm a Buddhist with a slight. I shouldn't say this on YouTube. Anyway, I think I believe in some power. I'm pretty sure I do. But in terms of any monotheistic religion, I just think they're all designed to manipulate and control people. Probably before they had TV and the internet. how do you need to be a good boyfriend even? What's the point? Yeah, you should be a good boyfriend because I know a lot of players who were savagely evil to women and they had, I shouldn't say savagely evil, pretty evil to women, a little bit evil to women, not nice to women, let's tone that down. And yeah, a lot of the best guys I learnt from ended up in institutions or homeless because I just think they had this massive accumulation of bad karma. There could be drugs and late nights in there. Um, a lot. A lot of the best guys I've met ended up with serious psychological problems in institutions, homeless, broke. Um, so yeah, I think you need to be a good boyfriend. I've said before, and it may have some of you turning off. I've lived a pretty incredible life, I think, in terms of traveled nonstop for 7 years to 100 countries. Had most guys' sexual fantasies, particularly when it comes to like women you're actually dating, not just sort of rock star stuff of doing a motley crew and lining up 8 groupies or something and playing games with them. And I mean, more threesomes, hundreds of threesomes, mostly with women way younger than me. Yeah, and went from very poor to making pretty good money in finance compared to anyone I ever grew up with. Incredible money, actually. So I've lived a pretty good life. But yeah, nothing, not the best drugs, nothing compares, not even dunking in a basketball game when you're white with not the biggest dick. Nothing compares to being in love and looking in the eyes of someone you love. And I just repeated, we just repeated, I love you, I love you, I love you over and over again. And we went to places I never got on any drugs, hallucinogenics, shouldn't say it on YouTube, or even very, very serious meditation. Or even being dominant at sport. For anyone, sorry for Americans, are there any fast bowlers in the audience? Any fast bowlers? If you know what a fast bowler is, you get an idea of what respect from men comes because no one's ever really looked at me like when I was a fast bowler, particularly once I went through puberty very, very late. Sorry for my little segues. But yeah, when you're a fast bowler, the way people look at you, it's probably the way NBA players look at Michael Jordan. This guy's going to hurt me. I don't mean physically, I mean humiliate. We're talking about fast bowlers can savagely hurt people. And it's a fear, unlike most other things I've faced. Anyway, that was a bit of a distraction. So let me get back to questions. There's been some good ones. Do you need to be a good boyfriend even? What's the point? I didn't really answer that well enough. I'll definitely have to do this again and maybe mine some of your questions. I'll do it to US audiences. Hopefully some of you guys can make it. It'll be worth sleeping in for. It'll be worth staying a bit late to work for. Yeah, I mean, so much of the joy of life is love, as I've said. And I haven't done it, but so much of the joy of life is having children. I mean, Elon Musk's happy with his children and the whatever. He's achieved more than every other businessman in the world put together, really, in terms of his impact on planet Earth, and probably more remarkable than anyone. But yeah, his happiest time was his relationship with his kids. He's got 14 of them, so it's probably a lot or something like that we know of. Jeff, I'm terrible at this. I should be reading your comments, who said it, and then answering it. If anyone's got any YouTube live tips for me, I'm all ears. I'm not the best at this. There is no switch age. It depends on how long they stay hot for and girls' own beliefs and insecurities. I don't know switch age. I didn't understand that. That sounded like a good comment, though. Yeah, it's a girl by girl thing. Oh my God, I think mosquitoes in here. Anyway, I'll sort that out later. My problem is that I suffered from nice guy syndrome. I've been burned every time. The nice guy, I was the worst outcome. No more, no more. Yeah, I don't know if you voted on the YouTube lives I'm going to do, but I've got a YouTube live, which is one of the most successful parts of my live webinar, where I explain analytically exactly how a YouTube a nice guy works, how women see you, why you get taken advantage of, why you never get the girls you want till like 37, if you're lucky. So yeah, I've explained it analytically, and I can go into how to stop being a nice guy. It all gets back to skill, but you need to know what skills you're missing before you can work on the specific kills. There's a dating coach that says, F as many girls as you can, and there is truth to that. It lifts confidence. I'm not going to put up a strong argument against that. If you're in your teens or 20s, that's probably really good advice. Most of the players I met back in the 80s, when you didn't have people like Tess and Natalia and I to shortcut you, the best guys I met, certainly growing up in Perth, Western Australia, they were it was just what was their hobbies? Okay, how'd you get better with women in the 80s? From at least my mentors. Okay, it's a sales job. You just got to make lots of cold calls, lots of cold calls, do lots of visits. Don't worry about rejection. That's just part of the game. The other thing you need to understand is every mole has got a hole. Don't be fussy. I've made that more politically incorrect and turned it into two legs, no balls when you're getting started. With approaching, I'm not so much sure about sleeping with, for beginners. You just practice approaching. So yeah, that's how people did it traditionally. So I'm not going to put up a big argument that you should sleep with as many girls as you can to get better with women. But I would draw a distinction between being in your teens and having a lot of spare time and being in your 30s and being somewhat busy with life commitments, wanting to use your time effectively, plus the whole Me Too thing and what you end up in jail for something that no one had even talked about a few years back. So yeah, depending on the person, that's not bad advice. The other thing is, I don't know if I'm not Wilt Chamberlain or anything like that. I'm obviously in three figures. But yeah, once you've gone to all this trouble and effort to sleep with a girl, and then you drop that load inside her, and then in many cases, I've had this dozens and dozens of times, I'm just like, what the freaking hell did I do that for? It's called player's remorse, and I just get this dread inside me. Then some girls can actually tell it's happened. There's been at least one where I slept with her very quickly before I knew anything, and it got turned around a bit. I stayed with her for a week. But yeah, so sleeping with a lot of girls, as I said, with some of the best guys I learnt off, a lot of them, the karma comes back to bite you. Sorry for anyone who's purely, for anyone who, whatever, but believes in complete natural selection. There's no super. I'm a complete natural selection guy and sexual selection, but I still believe there might be something behind it without believing Christianity or the other religions. Sorry, I'm getting a bit waffly. Hopefully people aren't signing off. Hopefully it's interesting waffle. So yeah, sleep with as many girls as you can. There's definitely a lot of truth to that. I really wouldn't put up a strong argument other than say some guys are time poor. There's player's remorse at some point, and there's also the Me Too movement and what can happen with gender politics these days. Okay. Oh, some other stuff I wanted to do. Where's my some other key points? Okay, I've got to figure out this one. Where's my little? Okay, there we go. This makes it so much easier for me. Well, I can't see it. Maybe you guys can see it. This is a bit embarrassing, the tech, but it's due to a power outage. We've done the red flags, how to fix. We've done some other key points. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Men are stupid. Often the most intelligent men are the most stupid of all because they reason, I've got a PhD in physics or engineering from MIT, plus I got politics, philosophy and economics at Oxford. Then I went and did an MBA at Harvard, and I'm smarter than any girl I've dated, particularly my secretary who destroys them and puts them in jail or has a kid and takes all his money and makes him depressed. Because they think they're so much smarter at practical things than women, whereas a practical thing that's probably even more important, reading social signals, being able to manipulate and control people, and being able to read when someone else is doing it, he's clueless at it. Now, in truth, I should have probably left out PPE at Oxford. If he'd done that degree, he's probably got some idea with the literature and philosophy he'd read. But yeah, certainly just the analytical stuff. He's probably this gigantic, big sitting duck. So that's a point you want to make. So yeah, I'm probably going to say this every second YouTube live. Men are stupid, women are crazy. You are so stupid compared to women, it's not funny. Not all of you, but most of you. most of the guys who aren't my clients who are on this, yeah, that's the truth. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. Men are stupid, women are crazy. So yeah, you've just got to be aware of that. You've got to be aware that men are stupid, women are crazy. You have, what's it, 70% more strength in the upper body, maybe 80. I can't remember the stats. You can Google or AI it. And you have 50% more on the legs. You're a lot stronger. You can do a lot of damage to them, particularly if you've worked out or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, there's stats behind this. There are at least 5, probably 10, in many cases 20 times. And if you've got a high logical reasoning intelligence, there's probably a chance that more like 30 times. So yeah, that's one key point I wanted to make. I've touched on this before. This isn't misogynistic at all. If I was a dating coach for women, I'd be doing a YouTube live about why beautiful, high-value women constantly attract bad men. Sorry, I can't come now. What is it? Oh, for God's sake, I didn't ask for it now. Just, can you come in, please? Can you keep it warm for me? I don't know. I'll tell you in a second. Sorry about this. I apologize for this. It's been a bit of a disaster today. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of it, getting a lot out of it, given people are staying around. So yeah, it's not. This isn't misogynistic at all. I could be equally as savage. I could be pretty much as savage on certain men as I could on women. Maybe not quite as savage. I don't have experience with it, but I could be pretty savage on men. I think 1% of the female population is a psychopath. I think it's 3% with men. Again, you can Google that. This stuff isn't always black and white. It's not like it's not binary. It's not like this girl's toxic, this girl's not toxic. Some girls become toxic over time because of poor experiences or poor relationship. Some girls take some medical interventions and become toxic with stuff I won't go into now. What's put into their body. That is a thing. And some girls are driven toxic by a guy they thought was a bit of an alpha male in terms of finances and ambition and maybe social skills with men and women, but he was a bit clueless with women. So yeah, the idea that this girl's toxic, this girl's not. There's some girls who are just unbelievably toxic. They will be with any guy and nothing's going to change them. But there are other women who've been driven toxic by experience. Lots of them. Many, many models are like that. I've dated girls in their early 20s and kept in touch with them or met them in late 20s. And I was just, what the hell happened to you? You were like happy and outgoing and lovely and wonderful and sweet. And now, oh my God, like Amber Heard. So it's not a black and white thing, toxic versus non-toxic. Said this before, the right man, if a girl, even a moderately attractive girl, an attractive girl, gets the right man, game over. She doesn't need to worry about money ever again. There's obviously incentive to lie and cheat about stuff, including rape and beatings and abusing kids sexually, which happens all the time to celebrities. I don't need to go into that. So you need to understand, for those who are successful or those who are tall or those who are nice guys who've got even a half-decent job, you are one gigantic target for a woman who might never need to work again in your life. So do not settle. Do not settle. Sorry, I'm going to swear here. Do not fucking settle. And successful men in the West, where you spend so much time working, you may have done analytical degrees, you might be really good at computers and programming, all this analytical stuff. The ones who have most of the money now, typically you're going to have much poorer skills with women than an average intelligence guy. Certainly guys who worked in hospitality, potentially a lot of guys who've worked in blue collar environments, because they're sort of mixing with people, and particularly the hospitality guys. So yeah, that's a very, very important point. If you're quite successful, particularly because of analytical thinking, whether you're a programmer or an engineer or some accountants, a finance guy in many cases, which I was, you're really, really clueless. If you didn't have a strong masculine father and a largely feminine mother, you're probably really clueless too. So many of the most desirable guys I coach by far, male models, had a woman, more so a toxic woman who destroyed a father, often a successful one, or inherited successful, or sorry, it's a brain freeze. Well, that was the case, or they were sons of single mothers. So if you look at how desirable my clients are by the metric of how much my female coaches who are models throw themselves at them, yeah, toxic mother, single mother is far more likely than the general population. So yeah, I don't know if you should say this. Yeah, I'm very, very, very cynical about most of the advice about dating and health, two things I think I know a lot about, that appear on YouTube or blogs or anywhere. So much of that is coming from marketers and YouTubers and people who want to use your fears, frustrations, wants, and aspirations to make a truckload of money out of you. The most famous of all, the guy who basically got the industry started, he married his second girlfriend. His first girlfriend, he met at one of his business seminars. His first girlfriend wasn't exactly a Victoria's Secret model, to be very, very politically correct. But he was a genius marketer. I still use his subject lines sometimes to get you guys to click, even with AI. When I do these, I do a bit of research. I don't just take it all off the top of my own head. So I looked at some female YouTubers, some male YouTubers. I looked at all the big channels to try to get a list of toxic signs and red flags. I even asked Grok, put it on Deep Think, and gave it, a prompt that long. It was, in some cases, it was dreadful. And it was really underwhelming. Obviously everyone's concerned AI is going to wipe out their business. I'm pretty safe because my special subject is live events that are life-changing. The coaching with the female coaches on Zoom's life-changing too. So I'm least worried than anyone, but I'm worried the sort of information side of this business, Elon Musk or Google is going to figure out how to surpass me and surpass Tess. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen soon from what I saw. I'm talking dating, but also health. I mean, the amount of atrocious health information I've got out of both AIs I use, and especially YouTube. I've said before, there's one of the biggest health gurus in the world who's been on every major podcast. He's got a huge podcast, who's interviewed a lot of really decent people in health, including one of his podcasts changed my life with a sleep expert. Yeah, he's telling people, he's promoting fasting aggressively, water fasting, which is very problematic unless you're crazy healthy and you've got some really outlandish goal, like quite long-term water fasting. But he's saying if you get hungry, drink coffee, just don't put any milk or fats in it. And I'm just like, I don't know if there's any doctors here tonight. You're taxing your adrenals, like sending them out of this world hard on your adrenals. It's insanity. It's complete insanity. I've done water fasts before when I was really healthy. They're dangerous, especially if you don't know what you're doing. I've got a bunch of excess fat on my stomach, excess skin on my stomach because of following that stupidly. He's telling people to do this. It's saying drink coffee whenever you get hungry, just drink some coffee. It's insanity. It's complete and utter insanity. He could really injure someone. But, like many of the dating coaches I looked at, some of them have some really good advice, which they've often plagiarized off someone else, they've found in AI these days, or they might have come up with it themselves. Like if a guy just wants to sleep with as many girls as possible, he'll have quite different dating advice to me. He wants to get the best girls as possible with high IQs. And it's not saying his dating advice is wrong. It's just you got to pick what the motive is. So yeah, very, very careful with female coaches. There's certainly a continuum from best to worst, but even Tess, Natalia, Jackie are the best I've come across because they've had the experience of coaching hundreds, in Natalia's case, thousands of guys, probably, certainly 1,000, maybe more. So yeah, just please be very, very careful with that. I don't want to say who it was, but I searched one of the bigger people, probably the biggest person in shorts, maybe not, I shouldn't have said that much. And yeah, there was some really good information there, particularly about style and about mistakes to make. But then some of the information was absolutely appallingly bad. It's absolutely appallingly bad. And she mixed it in with some sort of mild red pill from a hot girl's point of view. To hook you guys, I'm just like, wow, this is a nightmare waiting to happen. You get 2 or 3 good pieces of really good advice, then something that's absolutely horrible. So yeah, I'm not saying that there's probably good people, but if you resonate with me, and some of you might not, that was definitely my honest take. And I just need to use health as an example. I could give you dozens of other health tips that are just completely awful. The other thing to realize is even the AI models, just like health information's influenced by studies done at universities about health that are funded by guess who, and meaning that the AI output is pretty biased in favor of that data, whereas all the dating stuff is biased in favor of the mainstream media and popular dating books and popular YouTube people and etc. Much of which is just be a nice guy, make some money, dress well, wear some good cologne, be a gentleman, open doors, get chairs for good advice, but yeah, just be a nice guy, don't push for sex, all this nonsense that it's just they're just teaching you how to be a nice guy, or they're teaching you how to be an early stage pickup artist. So just be very, very careful. Was this value to you? I hope it's not me whining. It's just even using AI to help with a health problem I had recently. I did some serious damage to myself, and I've never. Anyway, I should shut up about stuff like this. Okay, I think Luke had a great question. Where did I lose it? How do you determine whether you're settling? Firstly, you need to have been in love with a massive woman. You've probably got to get your heart broken, or have a great woman and regret losing her for years. I still regret losing a woman I haven't seen in 21 years. I don't regret it because it was the right thing for me to do at that life, but I haven't found anything remotely close to that love-wise. I don't regret it because she was too smart for me and too manipulative testing. I also dream of getting a girl as remarkable as a girl I dated 18 years ago, who I spent a lot of time with. So yeah, I've got a pretty good benchmark of what I'm looking for. I'm not saying everyone needs to be at my level, but yeah, you've really got to know what you're looking for. And depending on how many hours you've worked in your life and a whole bunch of other metrics, and if you're very, very successful, then you've probably got a completely and utterly invalid data, because the majority of girls who've come to you, if that's you, have picked you up. So yeah, it's like teaching a really good-looking guy how to approach women. They don't get very good data because they all just say yes. So they don't know when they're doing stuff wrong, which is why I often intentionally dress really good-looking guys to look much less attractive. And I mean, I'll give you this tip. I mean, I've coached oncologists, I've coached people. I'm so against lying in any format because it comes back to bite you. You got to remember all the lies. It can cause you a lot of trouble. I lied a lot when I was very, very young to get attention after a horrible childhood, and that came back to bite me. And most of all, and not most of all, but it's also bad karma. So I don't like lying. But yeah, I've told like oncologists to say they're cancer, not cancer nurses. I've told a bunch of successful guys to massively downplay what they do. So yeah, great question. How do you determine whether you're settling? I think you need to have been in love and you need to have been in awe. I'll need to give your question the consideration it deserves. Yeah, you should still be, if you've had a good girl, you should still be pumped to see her and hopefully have sex with her a year later, maybe 2 years later. You should hang out with this girl. This is off the top of my head answer to settling. You should see. You should come to a point where you don't want to sleep with any other woman. And with the love of my life, that happened for quite some time. And it was like, and because I was with her and I was in love with her, all the attractive women liked me even more, particularly once I showed them a couple of photos. Yeah, I had girls throwing themselves at me, even without much skill. I'm talking crap here. In terms of how to be good with women, social proof is massive, particularly from the most attractive women, because they don't need to sort you out for themselves. They assume you're confident and desirable if you've had attractive women before. I was in Sweden, and I won't give you too much detail because I don't want to give away too much. But anyway, I'm talking to my girlfriend, who was a long way away from, on whatever they had then, a Zoom call back then or some sort of video chat. It was a long time ago. And because I was in an internet cafe at the time, a bunch of girls saw this girl, and a couple said, "Oh, who's that?" I said, "Oh, that's my girlfriend." They were taking their tops off in front of me. They were rubbing their boobs against me. It was absurd. It was absolutely absurd what they did when they saw me chatting with this girl on the internet. And it was, yeah, is ridiculous. One girl just undresses in front of me. Not what's between her legs, but yeah, bum, boobs. It's like, how does this stuff happen? Equally on this point, an ex of mine who modeled for Elite, was also 6'1" with one of the great bodies I've seen in the English-speaking country. She was also really charismatic and really smart. Her favorite book was Germs, Guns and Steel. I made reference to her before. And she was basically the sort of big-time model doing some search for a model or search for whatever, a star or some search for a swimsuit model at a really popular bar nightclub. And I came along to be with her that night. And yeah, and I was really badly dressed then. I hadn't learned anything about style. I was obviously very confident compared to any other time in my life. And yeah, just the number of boobs that got rubbed against me. Girls asking for my number, girls just being absolutely dreadful in front of this girl, in front of her boyfriend, just because she was perceived as high status and, in my view anyway, the most attractive. There was a few attractive girls there. So yeah, I just can't overstate. I've got a bit distracted there, but this is really valuable stuff. This is some of the stuff I say in my live events. Hey, James, have you answered the question? Not to be rude, but I want real answers here. John, just replay the question. I'm sorry, I've had an extraordinarily tough day, to put it mildly. If you just answer it. If it was about coaching younger men, I've never dated a younger man. Never will, I don't think, unless I'm in jail with a cigarette lighter on my balls and some sort of pointy object in my throat, and who knows. I don't think that's going to happen to me. Sorry about my bad jokes. If it's about dating younger women, it's about coaching younger men. Sorry, my mind's not where it should be now. Yeah, we do occasionally, but they get screened a lot more than others because I deal with 35s and up and lots of 40s, 50s. So David, I shouldn't say his surname. Amber Turd was the worst, most toxic woman there ever was. I'm sorry, man. You should see my ex-client base. She was nothing compared to them, like nothing. Which leads me smoothly into a great segue for my anaesthetist story. What was this guy? 5'5", I don't know, 50, early 50 kilos, really beautiful, sweet man, very, very, very smart. I mean, for a specialist doctor, he was very, very smart, very, very interesting. And anyway, he had a kid with this girl who was also a GP. It wasn't like she was going to go hungry. And yeah, he had these like golf ball, not quite cricket ball size lumps in his head. And he had, sorry, my hair's disgusting because of my foot injury. He had these golf ball size. I sound like a girl. Sorry about that. He had these like golf ball size lumps in his head, and like I can't remember. I didn't count them. Like 5 or 6 of them. Like these gigantic things in his head. And yeah, I asked about it because women are obviously going to notice this because it's my job to find out whatever. If guys have been sexually abused or if guys have had toxic girlfriends or toxic mums or whatever, I need to know about it because that's part of my job to help that person, not the general population. So I asked about it, and he asked to go into another room, and he just basically said, yeah, well, I don't know what it is. I might have done this before. I can't remember the exact size of the vase, but something dramatically bigger than this. That was a vase. It was obviously very strong. While he was holding okay, I'm not going to make up the age. They're 3, 6-month-old or 18-month-old. She is bashing him in the head with this huge vase. Bashing him in the head with this huge vase. This is an anaesthetist. I'm pretty sure I remember the story rightly. They were working at the same hospital. She had him up, even when married to him, on sexual harassment charges through the hospital. And this is a long, long time before Me Too. I'm just like hearing, and I've been in this situation 10 times, just hearing guys' stories with toxic women going, you need a screenwriter or AI to make this shit up. I mean, some of the stories are just absolutely horrendous. Again, successful guy. That's a great story. Successful guy. You know, he's not a billionaire, but anaesthetists are some of the highest paid doctors. And they don't do much for their money. They just sit there and make sure that the drug's going right. And what was I going to say? So yeah, successful guy, very financially successful, very smart, very sweet, good guy. They're the other people who get toxic women. They can sense it. Asian, short, like whatever, top 10% nice guy, even for an Asian dude, even for a short Asian dude. And yeah, I mean, I could probably give you some more toxic stories than that, but yeah, that one's up there. So yeah, that was a nice lead in. Thank you. So yeah, I don't think Amber Turd is the worst. I'm not being rude at all to my audience, which I value at the moment, given I'm so early to this. But yeah, I've heard much worse than Amber Heard, much worse. And in his defense, I heard some of the tapes, which were horrendous, but Johnny Depp handled that quite skillfully. No, I shouldn't say skillfully. He handled it a lot better than the average guy because he's probably had some experience with hot girls, and he's an artist, so he's much more clued in about this sort of thing than he's not just an artist. He's not a De Niro or whatever level actor, or Brando, whoever your role model is. He's an actor, so he's going to understand vastly more about women than the subject he plays. So yeah, Johnny Depp, relative to the average guy, particularly the average guy with an engineering degree or an accounting degree or a university degree, he handled it very well. He should have left. He should have done all the things most of the things I'm talking about. But he saved the world from a suicidal or an Elon Musk in jail, which I, for one, am very grateful for. Sorry for anyone who thinks Elon Musk is a site that Twitter's or X is a cesspool owned by a psychopath. I might have got those people to switch off already. Ralph, have you dated Turkish women, James? No, I've had 32 different countries, flags as I call them, and every one was a girl with the passport of the country. I wasn't cheating by getting a Ukrainian girl who was born in Canada or America. They were legitimate that they had the passport of that country, many of them in their own country. And if I counted them up, it must be 50, maybe 60 different cities of the world. But I missed my Turkish flag. One of my best friends basically stole her from me, my Turkish girl, because we were having a bit of a row after traveling for a long time. So yeah, I never got the mythical tea, Turkish. I've got Thailand and probably one other tea country. It'll come to me in a second. It's probably a European tea country, maybe not. Anyone who wants to get better with women, who's a bit younger than my average client, play the alphabet game. Try to get a girl from Australia, Austria. I've got another A country. What is it? I haven't been through this for a while. Brazil, Bangladesh, Belgium. I'm sure there's another B country in there. I can't remember. There's probably more. And then C's, I really get started with the C's. Costa Rica, Canada, Cuba, China, Croatia. There's probably a couple more C's. And I got lots of S's too. So anyway, yeah, play the alphabet game. It was the most fun I've ever had traveling. No, that's not true. But the life experience that gave me. John Rambo, totally disagree that. Oh, sorry. John Rambo saying, I totally disagree with that point that I want a girl with. Sorry, I can't read that. I don't know what's going on. Oh, don't tell me I've messed up the. You're going to be very angry with me, Rambo. Oh, here we go. Thanks. I totally disagree with that on that point. I want a girl with looks. I want a girl with looks. The girl, I want an average look. I want high quality, gorgeous chick, not some average ugly girl that looks like shit. I don't think I've argued with that point at all. Unless I'm reading you incorrectly. Sorry if I'm not being helpful on that. I don't want to date or marry average looking girl. I want to be with a girl I'm happy with. I agree completely, 100%. Yeah, a lot of guys settle for women not as attractive as they want because they're not a BITCH for a while, and that really, really comes back and bites them. No, I agree. I'm exactly the same. What John asks, why do the guys end up homeless? Everyone would be different, but I've given you some of the reasons before. They spent lots of time at night. Some of them were quite heavy drug and alcohol users. It goes with the party lifestyle. People might disagree with me. I probably shouldn't say on YouTube because it might turn a lot of people off. I think just an accumulation of bad karma. The way these guys treated many, I mean, the guys who are doing 100, 200, 300 a year, sleeping with 16 girls at once or more, as in 16 girls on the go at once. I mean, they weren't exactly nice to women. I mean, God gave them incredible skills, looks, experiences that got them these skills, and they basically caused a lot of damage to the human race in terms of really hurting a lot of women. I mean, I've probably got that to some extent. The number of girls I slept with, I was honest about it. I mean, I'm just going to continue traveling. I even told them there's this girl in country X that I'm crazy about, and they still slept with me. I mean, one Swedish girl was going to, probably showing off here, she's going to fly from Stockholm to either India or Thailand to meet me for a week when she had some time off, and she worked in a pharmacy to save up for this from memory in Sweden, just to sleep with me for 5 days. And I literally told her I'm meeting the greatest woman of my life after, and she still wanted to come. Eventually, I thought about it for whatever it was, I can't remember, hours, and she said, listen, it's just not fair. I can't ask you to do that. I'd love to see you again, but I just can't see someone at that point. But yeah, a lot of guys I know would have said, yeah, fuck yeah, she's second best bonk I've ever had in my life, I think. If you don't count love, she's the first best. I'm showing off. She emailed me, I can't remember, it was 15 years later, out of the blue, thanking me for opening her up sexually. Okay, sorry about to go on about that. Why do guys end up homeless in jail? If I said jail, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, some of them got in extreme trouble with the law. I need to think through the guy I'm talking about. Certainly court charges. Krishna, I love bowling. James, kindly explain again in detail, never settle. Krishna, yeah, if you settle, you're settling for a woman less than you want, and she'll figure, good, I might have not covered that because of my mental state, as in I've had a very rough day and a whole bunch go wrong. If you settle, men are stupid, women are crazy. If you settle, the women who have much more social intelligence than you know will know this very quickly, and they'll turn nasty on you. So yeah, never settle is one of my top lists to avoid toxic women, because you're asking for it, especially if you've got cash. Mark, I need to keep a record. That might be the comment of night. Men use logic to reason while women use emotion. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why we're so far apart. This is another thing that the feminists and the red pill guys, yeah, they either choose to ignore in some cases for their YouTube channels, or that they don't actually understand. I don't know which is which. It would vary according to creators. As an aside, where do you get your health info from? Everywhere. Most of it's complete and utter bullshit. It could arguably be worse than dating advice. I think it's worse than dating advice. I just said that. I think health advice is worse than dating advice, which is like, wow, that's a statement and a half. David Reynolds, I'll pass on your question. Let's just say They're a much, much, much better marketer than me. And it's the same thing. There's a lot of really good stuff that she says, but some of the bad stuff, yeah. Thanks so much, Martin. Really appreciate that. No going on about AI. I want to know more, please. Oh, just explain more about AI. Sorry, there's been a ton of comments. I haven't covered them all. Mike says America. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Do you coach guys at age 29 to 30? Please book a call. If you tell me what your occupation is, I bias towards certain occupations that are more likely to fit with my older clients. Having said that, I coached a guy who had no degree, left school young, and was a hacker, and he became a friend. I love that guy. It's the only guy I've ever coached in my life with a face full of fucking shit on his face, like the Pulp Fiction line. What's all that shit in your face? When he goes to see the drug dealer. Anyway, men are stupid, women are crazy. Great quote. That's not an original, but I've used it many, many times. Okay, John, I'm getting very, very hungry. So if you just ask your question, if there's any super burning questions, I will get back to that. So hopefully we over-delivered massively. I promised. Have I missed anything? Have I got all my key points? I've probably missed stuff. While John's questions coming through. Yep, I've got all my key points. I did well on that. Okay, I can't see that. Overview. So yeah, what I have to do off the top of my head. I did an intro or an overview. That slide was screwed up. I promised to give you the red flags. I promised to give you some of the guys who are particularly susceptible to toxic women. I promised to give you how to fix it, and I gave you some other important ideas to bear in mind. So hopefully, thank you so much, Krishna. You had no idea how much stress I was through. Like 10 or 15 minutes out, I didn't know whether I'd have power. I literally didn't know I'd have power till some Indonesian guy shows up at my door and fixes. Anyway, I won't go into the reason. So hopefully I did the overview quite well. If there's any pressing comments, just let me know. Again, this is going to be represented at US-friendly times, along with younger women and along with the coaching. And we'll just focus on selling the online thing, which is dramatically higher margins than the boot camp. So I shouldn't talk about the actual products. But yeah, the opportunity to get a date with Tess or Natalia and complete life-changing feedback, that might not exist for very long. But I've been so amateur tonight, I don't know how well I did. I haven't even had a chance to check. There's a correlation between how badly I do the tech and people's interest. I didn't even give you the probably the best, certainly the most popular dating content we've ever released. You can hopefully tell I'm a very good dating coach, if not by my advice, by the fact that I'm so incompetent at everything that it takes to be a successful dating coach, like remembering to give you links to get your email. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Super intact. That is a fantastic question. Thank you, Krishna. Tips to maintain composure around attractive women. I really want to eat, but yeah, oh God, I'll have to try. If the tech guy is still there, make sure we add that to the list of requests for YouTube Live. That, my friend, is a ripper. Thank you, Super Intact. I cheated. I really, really cheated. I think my life was so fucking horrible for a long, long time. I'll come up and give you a proper list, but I'm starving. I don't make these too long. Yeah, I cheated. I went through so much pain early on, and then I don't know, the universe intervened, and I got the love of my life. Who, to me, not everyone's going to agree. Some would. It was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life, until I saw Sean Lennon's girlfriend, or Julian Lennon's girlfriend, who's a model called Charlotte Kemp Rule. I said, "Oh, she's hotter than the love of my life." Again, that might be everyone's taste, and she's gone a bit wacky in her 30s. That's a fantastic question. So yeah, I cheated. I got it that way. The other thing that happened was I was so brokenhearted when I fucked up on that girl when I was traveling, that so much of my insecurities and indifference just vanished, because whether I slept with this girl who I would have considered a 9.5 that night mattered, but all it would really do is stave off the pain of losing the love of my life for 12 hours or 15 hours, depending if we got up and had sex in the morning, if sex was good. So, and even had a relationship with her, it didn't even register. There's only been one girl in my entire life who's ever got near my heart. I shouldn't be saying this on YouTube anyway. What do you mean with a girl in a relationship? What do you mean you're in a situation? I still don't understand. What do you mean move with a girl? I just try to interpret your question. If you're in a relationship with a girl, I don't know what your question is, to be honest. With agreement and disagreement. If she's constantly disagreeing with you, and as an intelligent person you think it's just nonsense, then there's a high likelihood that's test. There's high likelihood that's a very, very toxic, very toxic behavior. What do you do in an agreement, disagreement with a girl when I move and get into an argument? This is advanced women's tests. So it's going to depend on a whole bunch of stuff. It's going to depend whether it's a legitimate argument too. What do you do in an agreement or an argument? Agreement and disagreement with a girl when you get into an argument. One girl was setting up one of my events where guys were flying from all around the world. Most of the guys there had paid me 15 or 20 grand minimum. There's probably about 50 showing up. And she screwed a bunch of stuff up. Then she rings up the phone when I'm going for a run to actually relax a bit and try to be coherent when I'm speaking on stage for 5 days, 10, 12 hours a day. And she blames a bunch of stuff on me. Now, I could have got into that argument with her, but what I did instead, where's my phone? Is she starts ranting at me, blaming me for stuff, which is nonsense. I just basically said, fuck off, and hung up the phone. This is incredible content I'm giving you. But I wouldn't do that most of the time. The trick is not to react to the test. In most cases, I don't even know, 90% time, 80% time, depending on how attractive the girl, the age is. Like pretty much everything I teach, I've got basically close to an algorithm that if you follow this algorithm with my female coaches, let alone on a live event, you'll get really good at it. Women's tests, I don't have an algorithm because it's so ridiculously complicated. Depending on the girl, the situation, how good your sex is, how desirable you are, how tall you are. So it's some tests are very, very obvious. Like a girl's dating a nice guy, especially a successful nice guy. She's constantly flirting in front of someone who's more successful, taller, not so Asian or Indian. So some of them are very obvious, but some of them are very, very, nuanced. Some of them take an incredible amount of commentary before you can answer. So I don't know if I'm answering the question. If you get what I'm saying. Someone's saying world in motion, tattooed is a sign of a red flag of toxic women. I wouldn't argue with that. But then it's 2025. A lot of girls have tattoos. I still don't like them, but I don't like them at all. So you could add that to a list, but I think the points I gave you are much more. Have you tried to win back love of your life? You mentioned you were still friends. No. The first reason was I was scared I'd hurt her more, which is the worst thing I've ever done in my life. The second reason was I got so caught up in my mission, which is to help bring men and women together and be happy, to help decent, hardworking, good men, to save them from toxic women, which I've had 2 cases of. One wasn't a girlfriend. And 3 is to make every human, men at the moment, their most confident, charismatic, sexy and successful self. And 4 is too obscure for tonight. How to teach people to live happily with capitalism, which I won't go into. How do you find time for surfing and snorkeling there in Bali, James? I don't. I had a very unfortunate health thing that happened to me, so I've had an awful time here. Hopefully I've added a lot of value to guys around the world. Win back Oh, you guys, all these great questions come when I'm starving. Can you ask them at the start, please? It's not to be a whiner. Win back the GILF, I don't even know, girlfriend of your life. And the final reason I haven't done it is because she was out of childbearing age and I really want to have kids. And again, 10, 15, 20 years later, I don't know if it'd be that good. The biggest thing was I just couldn't hurt her again like I hurt her before. Yeah, I'd much rather get dumped by someone and get my heart broken than actually break the heart of someone I once loved. I think that's a far greater pain in my experience. How do you set boundaries with a girl? That's a great question, man. If you come to another one of these, if I do one about women's tests, that's like, how do you set boundaries with a girl? That's a question about women's tests. That's extremely difficult. Boundaries. I just have to give you a quick one. I don't have a good answer off the top of your head because it depends so much on the situation and the guy. Some great questions though, John. If you do one of those coaching calls, you can ask me there. It depends so much on you. If a girl's constantly flirting with other people when you're around, no, I mean you don't even set boundaries there. You just ignore it completely, and most girls will give up. If they don't get, this is a great woman's test. If they don't give up, if you just give it no attention, it will usually go away. If it doesn't go away and you're still ignoring it, then this is where you need to be skilled because then you use your skills to get her jealous. Great anecdote you've brought up. I'm showing off again. One of the models I dated who was wonderful, very, very insecure. She put me through throwing her celebrity athlete, maybe not billionaire, but multiple $100 million boyfriends at me like crazy. Like Marine, who fought in the Gulf, he comes around and picks her up on a motorbike when I've been in her place for 6 days. It was literally a small model house. And yeah, I hear this big Harley. I'm this sort of skinny dude with a beer gut at the time because I'd been traveling as poorly dressed. And what's the reason? Oh, Jesus Christ, I've lost the question. I set boundaries with the girl. So I didn't react to that ever, which just drove her nuts. And she did a seminar with me many years later with another girlfriend and explained how I passed all the tests, which is amazing. I should dig the footage up and charge a shitload of money for that. It doesn't look very good. But the ironic thing with this, and I've said this on my female trainer panel in front of all the models, 6 of them, was I told this story. I had one of the most desirable Western girls, probably including Eastern European girls I've ever met in my life, maybe the most. Ticks every box a man could have apart from being insecure and just testing relentlessly. She puts me through more jealousy tests than every man put together. I think she couldn't believe how this sort of loser, badly dressed, overweight, slobby guy could be so confident, just because I was traveling and sleeping with girls a lot. She didn't believe I could be so confident, so she tested me like crazy. And then a lot of them was jealousy tests, trying to make me jealous, and I just didn't react to it, partially because I'm good in bed. And then I was sitting with her, waiting for her to get off a modeling job, and I don't want to show off, but she's over 6'1", she's 6'1", maybe nearly 6'2", and she was in a tight black high neck thing, and leggings that basically show what's between her legs, and these crazy high heels. She's now like taller than Michael Jordan, and she walks into a cafe and comes to meet me. And I was talking to a German girl with, a face of an 8.5, maybe. She's lucky, 8, with a body I won't even rate it on YouTube, who traveled a lot, who I was talking to while I was waiting for her. And she walks in and she goes, and she freaks out. She completely freaks out. I'm talking to a well below 6 out of 10 overall. And I'm just like, what the hell? And I registered that. She's literally thought I was going to cheat on her with this girl. I'm like, and she's a really smart girl. All her family's got PhDs. She was a model. And I'm just like, how the hell is this happening? And I just realized how insecure a lot of really beautiful women are, particularly models. So yeah, just how insecure some women are. It was an answer to a good John Rambo question. So yeah, how did I set boundaries with a girl? I didn't react at all to her making me jealous with guys most people couldn't even compare to. Let's just say she was on a date with, I won't say that. I shouldn't mention one of the most famous celebrities in the world. But she's on a date with one of the most famous celebrities in the world. A few weeks before I was with her, maybe close to the most famous at that time. I should stop talking. How do you set boundaries with a girl? Do you talk with a girl before you see what she agrees with and what disagreement with before you move on to a relationship with her? Not formally, not formally. That's not a dumb idea though. Um, I just go through my list basically, which I know intuitively. I'd better move on with it. Everyone has tattoo girls. Everyone has tattoo girls, has tattoos, doesn't mean she's a red flag. Yeah, John, that's a great comment. But from memory, you're 29 or something. Most of my clients are 50 or 60. We've got very, very different opinions on that stuff. John, thank you for all the good questions. I'm going to have to wrap up. I'm starving. I've got to get these mosquitoes out my room. I'm going to have to cut it, yeah, guys. I'm profusely sorry for this. I really got to get going. I've had an awful day. If I don't stop this bright light in my face, I'll never be able to sleep tonight. So yeah, please, if you could cut and paste your questions, I'll almost definitely be on next Sunday if I get the tech and the lighting and the power sorted out. And we'll probably start the Thursdays again sometime soon. I'm going to have to pass on the questions. Sorry to everyone whose questions I'm not answering, but I'm just hungry like you can't even believe. But yeah, thanks so much for the questions. Requests for next time. Ask the questions early on, so I'm not still going at 2.5 hours. It's going to be a Scorsese film soon. I don't want to do these on YouTube Live. All the marketers say I'm going too long. I just try to add as much value as I can. I'll just answer this quickly. Do I play tennis? He's one of my regulars. You sometimes talked about it and you mentioned, I played everything when I was young. I grew up in one of the most boring places in the world with beautiful nature where all you did was play sport. I shouldn't have said that on YouTube. So yeah, I play sport pretty bloody well because there was the only way I could get any sort of popularity. And I drink beer I used to drink beer really, really, really well for any guy my height and weight. Okay, guys, love you regulars. Some excellent questions at the end. Rambo, whatever the name is. So yeah, love to have you back next time. And yeah, keep smiling and bye for now. And yeah, it wasn't very professional, but there was insane amounts of value here, just insane amounts of value. The stories that are coming out that I only teach guys who paid me like a truckload of money. We do inexpensive things post-COVID. Really inexpensive things compared to what we did pre-COVID. But yeah, the regular advanced live events are not cheap. But way cheaper than other people doing this because I've been a crap marketer. I'm crapping on and on. Love you, regular guys. Hopefully you got a shitload out of it. If you just pay half an attention to this and check a girl who you think's great, it could save you lifetimes of pain and money and potentially even keep you out of jail. Or stop you being a completely awful father to your kids because you hooked up with the wrong woman, as well as that. It was a very strong ending. Okay, I'm off. I got to eat. See you guys. Thanks for your support on a very bad day. She said, thanks for your support on a very bad day, technically in power, with hopefully insanely valuable content, especially for you very successful rich guys, you nice guys, you Asian guys, you intelligent guys, you good-looking guys, and what else? I can't remember my list. Anyway, I'll leave on that point. Oh God. If my tech guy is still on, could you copy and paste the whole chat? Because I may need to do some edits, and I don't want to lose these incredibly valuable comments like I did last time. Okay, shit. Okay, I'm signing off now.